what's good, everybody? Oh, did I not get this resized? Oh, well, look at that. I already messed up. I thought I had this fixed, and it's not. All right, what's good, everybody? Just going to actually fix something really quick. You're going to see my big face really quick. I'm going to get the webcam going. I know you guys can see this going on real quick. What's good? What's good? What's good? Let me get this out the way. Wow. All right, let's make this better. All right, what's good, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just wanted to jump on a call with you guys, obviously, see if there's any potential opportunities for us today. Let me make sure that's good. All right. So again, good morning, everybody. Hopefully everybody's having a great week. I know so far we definitely are. A lot of our trades have been hitting. The markets are definitely leading into a better way, leading into Q2. Q2 officially starting tomorrow, April 1st. So definitely going to be able to find, I would say, even though we still got to look at this in a very technical or a fundamental aspect rather. I think our technicals here for the majority of the markets are going to start working a lot more better, a lot in our favor rather. Now that I'm starting to see everything, let me actually just make sure you guys are with me. Oh, did everything freeze? Oh, I got everything? Okay. For some reason, my phone was paused. Let me just make sure you guys are good. All right, perfect. You guys are solid. All right, so again, good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. I'm just going to make sure that I have the chat open and ready for anybody who has any questions or any specific markets you guys would like to identify as well. So I'm not going to waste any time. I know it's already 8 o'clock, 8:10 rather, so the markets are going to start to open up a little bit more leading into the actual open of New York session. And then obviously the New York Stock Exchange will open as well later on, and that'll start giving us a lot of volatility within at least the U.S. cross pairs. So we'll take a quick look or look around for the majority of all our charts that we have here. See if there's any detail. Being Thursday, it's not too late to identify trades and opportunities. So there might actually be some opportunities, some trades that we can place even on this initial session. So definitely want to make sure that I'm identifying those with you, going over the steps on why we're looking at that or how we kind of identify potential entries, how we mark up our charts, and really identify what tools that we use to remain profitable at all times. Let me just make sure I didn't freeze because my webcam just randomly be freezing. But okay, now that I have you guys with me, I just want to make sure that I'm staying relevant to anything that you guys would like to obviously look at. So if there's any charts that you personally would like to take a look at, identify, feel free to let me know. I definitely got you. If there's any specific questions that you guys have as well, also feel free to let me know. I definitely have you on that as well. I usually just take a look at gold, some yen pairs, obviously U.S. cross pairs during this time. Obviously, New York session, you want to take a look at U.S. cross pairs because they're going to give you a high level of volatility. So I do want to take a look at some of that, identify what works and what does not as well. Obviously, throw out any ideas that we had that do not fruition, and then redo our analysis and see what is actually working. So I don't see any questions so far. Looks like you guys are good. Let me make sure I haven't frozen. All right, you guys are solid. All right, cool. So I'm going to take a quick look here at gold. One of my favorite markets to trade. It's just a very, I would say, in some cases, because sometimes this market just wants to play around and not really do too much. But even small moves on this market can, in fact, give you a great ROI, return on your investment as far as your trading is concerned. So I do want to mark this up and get a strong sense of what could potentially happen with this because overall, I think we have a general bias, but I want to make sure that's actually continuing as far as our bias is concerned. Let me just make sure, again, I haven't frozen. All right, perfect. And again, welcome, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Hopefully you guys get a lot of value, a lot of knowledge, and even profits, if any, throughout this trade or throughout this trade session, rather. Now, again, I know we went over this a few times on our calls. Again, doing these every day for you guys, you're probably going to see a very consistent pattern of what I do. I'm not going to try to deviate from my plan. I'm just going to identify what the market is giving me. I can see right now, if I look left to get right, there is a strong sense of structure here. And I know I had this marked up before, but I want to do this in real time with everybody. So strong structure. So me being able to see this level of strong structure, which is just simply a level of resistance. All right, let me just make sure we're good. Good morning. We can we take a look at GU? Absolutely. And good morning, Jocelyn. Hopefully you're having a great week. I know our trading this week has been a lot better. I would say even stellar at this point. I think we may have lost one trade, I think. Let me see what we have. Yes, I will definitely send the EA. I think we may have, no, we haven't lost a trade this week. All right, so perfect. Yeah, so hopefully you guys are definitely enjoying that as well, Jocelyn. And I'll definitely take a look at EU. which in my opinion should remain bearish. In my opinion, before we actually go on to that, I do think that it may, if I'm correct, I think it should be going bearish. But we'll take a look at that. I definitely got you. Good morning, Sandra. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. What's up, everybody? All right. So again, what I'm looking at is this. Excuse me. Did I freeze again? I did not. Perfect. All right. So what I'm looking at here is this strong level of structure, right? This level of resistance, if you will. We'll actually just write that out in parentheses. I could spell today. Before I couldn't spell anything. It was crazy. So the strong level of resistance, just identifying what the market has left before, which we can see here, and what it's currently doing. Not really overcomplicating that, just really seeing what the market is leaving me. So me seeing that there's a respect of this level of structure, we can see the wick to the upside. And I know I've shared this with you guys before, but this is a very true thing. Wicks equal rejection on any time frame. Let's see what else you guys got. You are perfect. What's good, Abraham? What's good? Hopefully I said your name right. If I didn't, I apologize. But what I can see right now is, again, that level of rejection here with gold. And this on the weekly time frame. I'm getting a stronger sense of an overall bias. Now, I do want to identify a few things here while we're on this time frame, because there's a few things we need to take into consideration. This is the structural low where, if this continues to sell, I do believe is going to reach. So we'll do this. Next level low. Now, obviously, I do know that there are other levels of structure within this point. What I would identify is obviously this point here, just roughly around this area, which is in right now, not kind of, it is. Excuse me. So what I can see is that this is currently being respected. I do see some potential breaks below this point, right? The reason being is because when we scale down and identify further analysis, you can see what the market is currently giving us. If you can't see it right now here on the daily, you'll see it when we scale down a little bit further. Here on the 4 hour, you might see it a little bit better. We have a head and shoulders pattern. That's really important. If you don't believe it's important, they wouldn't have a tool for here on TradingView if it wasn't, right? So we have that head and shoulders pattern. Now the neckline of this pattern has not been broken. I'll get rid of this. I just want to draw that out so you guys can see it. And then we'll just draw the initial neckline. Almost broken. Because I'm pretty sure on the daily that's a wick. So here on the daily you can see that's a wick. It did not close below. So we'll just mark this as our structure, our support rather. And you can see right now we're not breaking below that point, which is beautiful because now we have an opportunity to re-enter this market before it actually decides to break lower. And even here on the 4 hour, you can even see this is creating a head and shoulders pattern here. I mean, they could form in multiple ways. You have a head and shoulders pattern in a head and shoulders pattern. Like, look, we have a head and shoulders pattern here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. When we scale out, you can see this is the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder. When we scale in, you can see left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It's a very common thing. Excuse me. So with this idea that the market is giving us, where can we potentially look for sells at least with this? There's a few places we can actually identify this. I'm not going to just look at one. We can identify potential sells where we're coming up to right now, right around here, right? Because of this market, if this candlestick here can actually come back up to this range where previously sold off before, we can identify potential sells, which the risk to reward would be higher in our favor as well. It'll look something like this. Now, obviously, there's no trade on this just yet, but it'll look something like that, right? And then your first take profits, obviously, that level of structure. That's a beautiful trade setup. Now, obviously, if that's broken, other lows could be met. We're going to draw, I would say, your second targets, right? Because if that's broken, that was a level of structure. And then obviously lower, you can continue to do this all day, but obviously I would think that if we do start seeing bearish momentum, without a doubt, it's just going to reach these lows down here. So I do think long term, we're going to start to see gold be a little bit more bearish, which could indicate, and I don't know, there's no way that I can ever tell you or ever get the information, I wish I did, of what NFP might start giving us, right? It could start giving us the idea of a bullish dollar. So if we get a news release tomorrow, because tomorrow being NFP, the first of the month, and it's always the first Friday of the new month, we can start identifying maybe some potential bullish ideas there with gold, or the US dollar rather, not gold, and which would lead gold to actually sell. So we might actually be in a really good spot right now to start looking for potential sells here with gold. Obviously, if this area is not respected and that is not your entry area for sells, you just look higher. We start identifying these potential highs here to see what happens around that area. It's a very simple concept. Now I'm just marking this up so that way if there is potential entries, I'll make sure not just for myself but for Legacy students to get into this. And if this is actually a trade that does fruition, I'll make sure that I put this out in the Discord for everybody to take advantage of as well. But I'll make sure I'll put this on the auto trader and in our signals as well. And just all right, just seeing if you guys had any more questions. Again, yo, good morning, everybody. For everybody who's jumping on, I definitely appreciate you spending some time with me, marking up some charts, identifying some potential trade opportunities, and really growing this community, right? My biggest thing right now is growing a strong Forex-based community where it's just nothing but trading, analysis, education, and value. So definitely appreciate you guys being on today. But there is no opportunity. There is no trades here on gold as of yet. So we're just going to do this, and we're going to put aggressive entry. Oh, everything's in capitals. Oh, I could spell, but clearly I can't get anything working real quick. There we go. Aggressive entry. And this up here would be your conservative. Your conservative entry. Meaning the risk reward is obviously higher in your favor. This is a little bit, I wouldn't say premature because there is analysis showing us that there is an opportunity for potential sells here. But obviously if this level of structure is broken, your better opportunity would be at these highs. And then obviously you get a lot more profits because your take profit would still be the same down here. So let's say, well, your first take profit rather, that's 160 pips. If we sold from here and still use that same take profit, that's still more in our favor. That's 463. So that will be greater in our favor, and the risk will be a lot less because our stop loss will be a little bit, I wouldn't say closer, but it's not going to be, you know, up here. You know what I mean? So I would think that if the time comes, and I'll come back to gold, just somebody remind me so that way I remember. We'll come back to gold, see if there's any entries from here. But if we have a break above, obviously no entries. But if we start to see that the market is in fact respecting this point, we can start looking for potential sells from there. It did hit the 618. I do not use a, you know, specific fib ratio. I use every last one of them. They're like rules, right? They're there for a reason. When it says no running by the pool, it's probably because somebody bust their ass. They don't want somebody to bust their ass when they watch. Same thing with these fib ratios. They were used for potential trade opportunities before. If you can identify confluence within them, use them. It's really important that you guys understand that. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at GU really fast. Make sure I haven't frozen. All right. All right, so let's go take a look at GBP USD. If I'm correct, that should be selling. Okay, still kind of stuck. So we'll do some overall analysis like from the higher time frames, and I'll show you what's currently happening, which is currently happening. So we're going to take a look at the higher time frame. The biggest thing I think a lot of people fuck up at is when we start trading, we're trying to identify things that don't matter, right? We try to pay attention to shit that happened in 200 BC. We don't want that. We want to make sure that we're treating this as simple as possible. We're not treating it like rocket science, that we identify just the clues that the market is leaving behind. And how can I do that? By scaling out to the higher time frames and just seeing what the market is giving me. And what is the market giving me? It's not too hard to tell. A bearish market. So if I can identify that the market is currently bearish, what should I continue to look for? Selling opportunities. So if you don't believe me, we have a thing called a trend line. Self-explanatory is a simple line showing you a trend, the direction. We draw that trend line to identify our connective points. You can see here, connective point, which is your base, your secondary. I don't have it perfect over here. I don't have my contacts in. I don't like cutting through candles here, but I just want you guys to get the sense of the trend line being valid. I personally would have it like this, probably with no connection there, but I'm going to count that as a connection the way that I will just draw it out for you guys. But you can see here your trigger, fourth touch, fifth touch. I don't have cool wording for those. And you can see how that trend line was respected and continued to push down much lower. we're creating lower lows and lower highs throughout this entire market, still on the higher time frame. So if I can understand and look left, this was a low. Was that low broken? Yes. Now, this is the entire zone. I don't want my zones ever being that big. So when I draw my zone like this, I know there's a break above, but I'm not worried about that because we're kind of cheating right now. We can see what the market has done. So what can I see here? Level of structure being broken, retested. Now, I know that seems like a very simple idea, but I think we actually spoke about this before. And if anything, this level of structure was retested. So we're actually going to just use that, right? This is the low, but this was the structure that was actually broken. That was retested. Now that we have the break of that, the retest of it, we can see the rejection coming from that range. Now, when we scale down to a smaller time frame, what else can I see? Is there something pretty relevant that we can identify here? Head and shoulders pattern. Now, if we break it down even further, just like kind of how we did over here, this market came back to retest this price zone. Had a rejection from there. Let's scale a little bit further, or closer rather. We know that this is a head and shoulders pattern. We know that this neckline here was broken. Wasn't quite retested. Let me make sure that's okay. Wasn't quite retested to the trend line, but it was tested at that structural point, right? So taking a look at GU, what do you think GU is going to do? It's a very simple thing. Like, you see how quick that was for us to identify. I think a lot of us were just trying to identify a whole fucking thing, right? We're trying to think. What I mean is, like, I still see so many people. I have no idea why. Well, motherfuckers be doing this. All right, this is structure. This is structure. This is structure. This is structure. When it does that, but the price is down here. This happened last year. You know what I mean? This is not, the market's not reacting off of that right now. You want to stay relevant to what the market kind of gives you, right? So what can I see? I can see a bearish market. I should just look for more continued sells until the market, deems that buyers are coming into the market, taking control. Do we see any of that? No. Right now, we're kind of in the middle of no man's land. We even broke below that. Look at that. We're in the middle of no man's land. That's probably where the market's going to reach next. If that's broken, maybe down here, right? I'll identify the future projection of the market, but I'm not going to sit back and identify everything that's happened over here if there's no relevance to it right now, or to my trade right now. Even here on the weekly, I mean, you can even see how this is shaping up. Break, retest to that point, but you can also see the candlestick patterns that are forming here. If you don't know your candles, I suggest you go ahead and learn those. But what's happening here, this isn't closed just yet. This could definitely still have the opportunity to close bearish, and if it does, it'll form something called a reversal pattern. Hint, hint. Go take a look at that. So I do believe that GU, the projection of it, is still going to remain bearish. But yeah, hopefully that kind of helps you with the idea of GBP USD, Justin. But yeah, GU is bearish without a doubt. There's no buys on that. I mean, again, all you got to do is just go on to the higher time frames and really identify the trend, the direction. And if there is no trend, then you know it's ranging. You know what I mean? Then you just trade the range. But no complication when you're trading. You know what I mean? You always want to keep it as simple as possible. You don't want to start looking at a whole bunch of shit that has no relevance to your potential trade. Just always make sure it's as easy as possible. Okay, that makes sense. Good morning. What's up? What is that, Tashawn? If I'm saying your name wrong, I apologize. But what is Tashawn? What's good, Tashawn? But yeah, good morning. What other questions do you guys have? What other markets would you like to identify? Again, these sessions really help me, help my students, because especially this week too, because leading into Q2 officially being for tomorrow, the first Q1 of trading was atrocious on my behalf. Even, just full transparency, I have an auto trader, but was not profitable Q1, only because of how the market's really shaped out, especially with how I don't even think I could say it, but I think we all understand what's going on around the world. Those have been playing a huge factor within the markets, but like right now, everything's been so beautiful. As far as our trades, I think right now the auto trade is up about 350 pips. Our signals have been awesome, and these sessions are, due to it. being able to mark up charts with you guys, answer questions that you guys may have, and really see charts that sometimes I don't even potentially look at, helps me really get students a lot of profit. So I just want to extend my gratitude to you guys. Thank you for being on with me today and every day that you guys are on, because it really reflects positive into students' accounts. So thank you guys. And I know you guys get a ton of value, tons of education, so it's advantageous on all ends. So I definitely appreciate you guys. But let me just make sure I add that. Let me see what you guys have here in the chat really quick. Nope, you were selling. Perfect. But then you started to counter it. Nah, don't counter. If you understand your analysis, right? And this is what I'm always telling you guys. If you trust your analysis, especially, this is the one thing I want everybody to understand. If you place a trade and you're in profits, you're right. Don't go against your analysis, because what you previously thought was true. So let the markets work for you, right? Because we already know how the market is going to work. It's going to do this. Let me just get rid of everything. It's going to have a bearish move and a correction, but it's going to have another impulsive move. But where is that impulse going to happen from? It's up to you to prevent forest fires. No, I'm kidding. It's up to you to identify where that is, right? But in order for us to identify that, you have to trust your analysis and always and never go against what you were previously looking at. So, yeah, definitely hold yourselves, but don't go against your original analysis, especially when you place a trade and you're in profits. So, try to make y'all laugh too, because I'll be on it. US 30, NAS 100. I still have no. My question is, why is that everyone's favorite market to trade? So, and this is not to sound disrespectful, and this is just a legitimate question, because I'm very curious. To Sean, how, and I'm not trying to put you on the spot, I'm genuinely asking, are you a new trader? How long have you been trading for? And the reason why I ask is because I see way too many new traders. I'm talking about people who have a week, a month in, and the first thing they gravitate towards is NAS 100, US 30, all these indices. And it's really confusing to me, because that's the market you want to avoid as a new trader. One candlestick could blow anybody's account. Anybody's, with the wrong lot size. You don't even have to put a wrong lot size. Go put a micro and it still loses, and you're down a couple thousand. So I'm just very curious to understand. And or if you're a seasoned trader, then I could definitely understand, because I know people who just solely trade US 30 and they kill it. Like, I'm actually in conjunction working with somebody who only trades US 30, and I'm not gonna lie, that dude's a savage. That dude is absolutely amazing. Makes so much money trading US 30. I can't even imagine it. But it's just very curious to me. We'll take a look at it, but I'm just personally curious. Look at GBP AUD. I'm buying Euro USD. Please look at it for me. Calm down. Got him out there, papa. All right, relax. This is the markets, right? This is how it works. You got to let the markets work for you, but don't be impatient, because once you start getting impatient with the markets, that's when it starts going against you. And with the impatience that I see, it means it's not going so well for you. So I want you to be a little bit more educated with any decisions that you're making when it comes to trading. So let me go take it. Jay, dab on him. You already know. Hopefully I didn't make my thing freeze, because I know, like, if I make a giant movement, my webcam freezes. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take a look at US 30 and NAS 100. Now I've been trading, learning for a while. Okay. I'm just curious, because I always get people who are just literally like a week in, NAS 100, US 30. I'm just like, trade Euro USD for a little bit. So I'll take a look at US 30, which is the same thing as looking at NAS 100. But I mean, this is just very self-explanatory kind of idea as well. Right now, we're in a bullish market, right? This market should, in fact, continue to be going to the upside, right? If I can identify this, there's a break of that initial trend line. That's very strong of analysis. And again, I'm on the daily time frame, so that should give you a stronger idea of what's potentially happening. And let me just see. Mills, you can get in and out when you trade US 30. I mean, you can, but this is the thing. When people get in and out of these trades, it doesn't necessarily mean that you know what you're doing. And that's not to sound disrespectful, but that's just to make sure. That's a few things. You don't have the patience to hold a trade for more profits, or two, you second guess your analysis and you get out because you're like, you know what I mean? When you trade, everything you have to do is confidence. Everything you do has to be extremely confident. And that, again, not to sound disrespectful, but these are actual things that you have to really think about. But right now, US 30 and the majority of all indices are, in fact, going to be bullish. There's a correlation between US 30 and gold, or indices and gold. When indices are up, gold is pushing lower. So if I can see that, if I see indices pushing up, I know that gold should be selling. Now, if I see this is bullish, break of our trend line, we can see that here. We can see this here, and we can see that here as well. Damn, she up early. So I can see this. I can see the break of that initial trend line, and I can see this right here. This level of resistance. That's probably the only place where the market is going to have some type of selling pressure before you start to see continued buys, in my honest opinion. Maybe even, you know, it could come back to retest this initial trend line, but in my honest opinion, this is going to continue to sell from that, or continue to buy rather, from that point to here. If that makes sense. Hopefully it does. Reminds me of the VIX. Yeah. Volatility 75. Yeah, that was crazy too. Everybody was trading that when it came out. And it's just, you know what it is? And the reason why I'm so adamant about indices or actually going over it with new individuals is because I understand the purpose of why it's so popular, right? It was this marketing tool. Just, you know, I trade US 30, small move, you make all this money, but they don't talk about the small moves that lose people money as well. And an inexperienced trader, that's very, you know, attractive. Trade a market, make $1,000 in one candle. I get it. But at the same time, if it doesn't work in your favor, you're kind of assed out. You know what I mean? So it's very important that we understand that if you're trading US 30, you're not having $1,000 in your account. You're not even having 5,000. 10,000 is still rather risky, even trading that, depending on the lot size you have. You want something of upward. This is me being completely honest. As a professional answer, I would say you want $100,000 in your account. If you have a funded account, by all means. If not, be very careful with it. That's just me. I know people can trade it, flip accounts and all that. That's great. Don't get me wrong. But for any new trader who's trading US 30 and indices, just be very, very careful. That's very important. But yeah, what else you guys got? Since 2018. Oh, so you've been trading since 2018. Oh, you got mad time. You concur. All right, perfect. Yeah, just again, like you might have some sell points from here, but that's really about it. Potential short-term sell, meaning that I'm not going to be holding that for a while. And the same thing here. Potential short-term sell. But it has to reach these points. Oh, let's do that. So if I can see that, the market reaches those points, there could be sells. But right now, US 30, the majority of all indices should, in fact, be buying. My man said GBP AUD. All right, let's take a look at GBP AUD. There's your answer. I want everybody to take a quick look at this. What is this market doing? I'm on the daily time frame. It's selling. Don't overcomplicate anything that you guys are doing when it comes to trading. Right? So who was asking about GBP AUD? Ibrahim, where you at, my mans? Let me talk to you real quick. I want to see what your thoughts are with this. The area you pointed out is the previous high. Yes, I'll go back to that. Yes, US 30. Where is it? The last area that I pointed at up here is the last previous high. Yes, it is. That I know. And then GBP AUD. Why is that not up there? But my man Ibrahim, there's your answer. I don't have to mark anything up. That is your answer. I know we're kind of at a level of structure, actually. Let me take a look at this, but I don't think that's even going to last, to be completely honest. I think we're going to start to see a break of that. So yes, you are at a level of structure, but I'm not looking for buys. So what is this market doing? I want everybody to take a look at this. And this is not to sound disrespectful. I don't want anybody taking this the wrong way. We're going to dumb this down, right? I'm going to do something I do with my students to really help them understand what they're looking at. What is this market doing? Is it up or is it down? It's down. So 50% of your work now is done because you know what the market is doing. If anybody's like, oh, that's buying, you're wrong, right? You have to understand what the market is in fact doing. It is selling. So, what should you be doing? You should be selling as well. That's not to sound rude. That's not to sound disrespectful. But that's to help you guys understand and really embed this idea that you are not making trade, like you don't make trading complicated at all. If you are looking at a market that's selling, your first immediate thought should, oh, I got to buy. No. A market is never oversold. A market is never overbought. Yes, let me rephrase that. There are times where they are, but I'm talking about in the idea of an RSI or a stochastic or even a MACD maybe, even though it doesn't really correlate in a sense, but it does show divergence better. You're not going to buy a seller's market. So if you jump onto a chart and you see this strongly selling, you should be looking for strong sells. That is it. That is, and I'm not, again, this is just to keep it as simple as possible. GU slapped the high. I'll take a look at that real quick. And Ibrahim, just like you said, it's down. GU hit a high, then fell to the floor. Let me take a look at that real quick. From our trade? Oh, you're talking about from up here. Well, we did go over that. You guys should know what to do. But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, if you know that this market is currently selling, you know that the market is in a downtrend, you shouldn't have to question anything about it. This is a very simple idea. Same thing here. Let's actually do this. If we saw this market here, especially on a higher time frame, and it is bullish, we should be looking for strong buys, no matter what, until the market shows us that it is no longer buying and you can identify sells. Head and shoulders pattern, break of said trend line and neckline. Then you can start identifying a different idea. Until then, you continue to move in the market direction. Why? Because that's where the money is going. And that's where you want to be, where the money is. So, GBP AUD, don't have to really do too much with this. You're looking for sells. The projection of that is very simple to see. Look at that. Very simple. I know we're at a level of structure. I do understand that. That could play a potential idea for buys, but we don't have that analysis. We don't have that confluence. The market is not developed into that idea yet. Since we don't have that, you look for continued sells. Now, until then, or if the market starts showing us potential buys, then I'll start looking for then I'll start looking for buys over here. But right now, that is a seller's market, and you do not go against that. Simply put, very easy to see. My bad. Talking the chart we just looking at. You talking about US 30, correct? If not, or for GU, just let me know what. I forgot. We just went over so many markets. But yeah, I mean, if anything, I do see potential. I mean, continued sells with GBP USD. Let's actually just pull up legacy line real quick. If you guys are like, what's that? I know it looks crazy, but it's actually really, really simple. I just want to see if there's any potential sells here. I do kind of like it though. So you know what? Let's go ahead. Let's do this. I'm gonna go ahead and place a sell here. I got my phone right here, so I'm gonna place it here in a second. What's good, Alex? Got to trade with the banks. I don't like that concept. I don't like bank trading. I'm not a very huge advocate of the idea of bank trading. That's just me. That is just me. But right now, I'm going to go ahead, look for potential sells. I might actually go ahead and wait really quick because I want to see how this plays out. So I'll have a 50 pip stop loss. I'm not going to sell it yet, but I'm going to mark this up in the sense that way I understand what I'm looking at with this. It's like a one-to-one trade almost at first. And then as it continues, it'll start working further in our favor. That'll be a 1-to-2. And then if it continues to push down lower, then we could obviously do that as well. But I'm not going to place it just yet, actually. I want to see how this candlestick closes. And I think the 4-hour candle is going to close here soon, too. Yeah. So within the next 16, 15 minutes, we're going to have the close of even the 4-hour candle. And I really want to see how the next candlestick opens as far as the 4-hour and even the 1-hour candle. Because we're still kind of consolidated here. Still kind of ranging. So within that small little range, I want to see what happens, because you can have a break above, which would show and indicate potential buyers, or even a break below that range would then indicate stronger sells. And I could either trade the breakout or the retest of that structure. I'd probably trade the breakout in this case. I don't normally do, but in this case I might. But this does look favorable for a potential sell. So we'll take a look at this here in a little bit. We'll come back to GBP USD, and let's see what else you guys got. Let me actually go take a look at some yen pairs. Let's see GBP JPY really quick. Oh, let's actually talk about this really quick. This is something that we looked at on earlier this week, if I'm correct, on Monday. Right, we were actually giving a strong projection of this on Monday. So this here was something that, if I'm correct, yeah, we still have the idea from the arrows here. Let's actually go ahead and replay this. So we expected this market to do almost exactly what we looked at. So the market broke below. I said break below this level equals strong sells, and we did have, in fact, a break below. So when I redid the analysis after the break, we saw how it came back up to this level of structure. I think it came back to the structure in the trend line, right? Or did it just, yeah. So didn't come back to the trend line, but it came to the structure, and also kind of created a double top within that area. And you can see the rejection from there. And as you see, I put level of support because, in fact, that was. And you can see the rejection that happened from there. So since we had, oh wait, no, not from there. I thought it was from that first point and then push up higher. It broke through that level of support, but it did in fact, and this is why we always identify multiple structure points, is it did in fact reach the lower point. If I'm correct, that actually had a Fibonacci extension ratio as well there. So bing, bong, boom. So that 141 was respected, could not be broken below. And you can see here, it just came back, corrected a little bit to the upside, and it came back to our trend line, and it came back and pushed lower. Even though it does look like it broke above here, it doesn't, but we can start to see it creating a little bit better of an idea. We got to delete this trend line now because it's no longer valid in this sense of the market, because as it developed, it no longer is needed. So let me get rid of a few things, and we'll remark this up in a sense that can give us an idea of right now. So what we looked at previously did in fact fruition in a sense, not fully, but in a sense. So what I can see here is, again, I'm going to now draw a trend line from there to here. And I'm now going to identify any potential ideas from that point on. So let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this as well. And now if I actually just delete that, delete this, yo, it is noisy outside, bro. And it's also foggy. I got to take a flight later too. That's crazy. So let me see this. So we do have a level of support there. So that level of support is kind of granting us an idea. I know I had it marked up previously, but I just want to like fine tune some things. So as you see here, that level of support is kind of just reacting pretty heavily in a sense. But we also have that idea of a double top. So that double top is currently being respected in a sense because it broke below. It did kind of come back up, but the market structure is still being respected. I might actually look for some potential sells around this area here as well, because what we're looking at is, again, that structure point being respected. And you can see here, I mean, I'm not going to have my stop loss that high. I'll actually just keep it around here, about 60 pips, and then continue to drive it lower. So it'll look something like that. I mean, if anybody's patient enough to do something like that, by all means, feel free. But these will be the exact lows that I would hope that GJ can eventually reach and be our targets. Because long term, that just means I'm going to be looking for sells. There's no buys. And if it can't reach that, long term, I mean, we're going to understand that this market's going to sell for a while, and we don't have to really do too much analysis. Oh, is it going to buy? Is it going to sell? No, we already have a strong direction and a bias, and that this market is going to continue to push a lot lower. So let me see what else you guys got. Nothing so far. All right, so let me see what you guys, or what else we can conjure up and see. If you guys are confused, have any questions, feel free to let me know. I definitely got you guys. If you guys have any other markets you would like to take a look at, feel free to let me know. But yeah, just spending some time with you guys to see if there's anything I could do to assist. If not, we'll conclude here in a little bit. I just want to see, oh, this was a trade that I gave out yesterday to students. You can see here, sell USD JPY. You can also see here, if I scroll down, this was this was the analysis, same analysis. I haven't changed anything. And then you can see here the actual idea. What is this? Get that out of here. And then you can see here the actual trade setup. So our entry was pretty flawless on this. And you can see here the entry being part of the left shoulder price, or the right shoulder price of this head and shoulders pattern. And we just came back to a level of structure, and you can see here we also had fib confluence, roughly around that 618 and that 50% retrace ratio. So I mean, you guys can sell USD JPY or entries obviously up here. You might end up in a little bit of drawdown, but we are looking for continued sells here with USD JPY if anybody is looking at this market. But for any legacy student that was able to place that trade, you guys should be at least, I think, 60 pips in profit so far, just roughly about. Yeah, 57 pips, so not too bad. I do think that this is going to push down a lot lower for a total of 300 pips. This is why I was, just to reiterate back on the idea of, with US 30, you can get in and out. Why? That's very stressful. That's scalping. Like you would have to place. I know you can make a lot of money with US 30, but at the same time, it's very stressful. If placing 100 trades, a day, that could be, that could be daunting. But if I could trade USD JPY, place one entry, nice lot size, let's say a standard, that's $3,000 just in one trade if my targets are hit long term. Now, if I do that 5 to 10 times a week, that's already $3,000 in one trade. Multiply that by 5 to 10 because that's how many trades can be placed throughout a week. You know what I mean? You could make that money the same way with a lot less stress and even a lot less risk because US 30, you're not getting that much of a cushion, or indices rather, you're not getting that much of a cushion for your trade to actually, breathe because everybody knows you're going to hit drawdown. So let's say we place this sell and it actually just continued to buy. My stop loss is up here and then it comes back down and then I'm in profits. US 30, your stop loss is like over here because if your stop loss is up here, that's a blown account. So that's why I'm very adamant about holding a trade, trusting your analysis, and really letting the markets work for you. Because when you let the markets work for you, that's where the profit starts to come in, and also the confidence in between yourself. Like you'll be a lot more confident with your own trades. You'll be like, oh shit, I've done that before. I can do it again. You know what I mean? But yeah, any other questions, anything else you guys may have, feel free to let me know. I definitely got you guys. Let me just see what gold's doing. Oh, look at that. Look at that. I don't know. Gold looking kind of nice. Gold looking good. I might actually go ahead and start looking for some sells here on gold. It does look very, very favorable to the downside. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and place a sell here on gold. I want to see if we can catch this to the downside. So let me actually go ahead and mark this up for you guys. This will be the one trade for you guys for the day, for the week rather. I don't think I put a signal out in the public Discord. If I did not, here is our trade. So now I want everybody to understand. I personally would like to still see this close. We only have about 9 minutes left, but I do think that the overall analysis on this should be continued sell. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna place a small entry. I'm not gonna place a giant lot size. I'm not gonna place 30,000 standards. I know I'm over exaggerating. There's no such thing as 30,000 standards. If anybody has done that, God bless them. And if they won, I hope they won because that's crazy amount of money. But my first targets will be here. But obviously, I'm looking for this to drive a lot lower. So I'm just going to give you my ultimate target. So I'm going to be looking for sells here on gold. Hopefully, that does work out. But this is rather risky. So if you're going to place this, I mean, you don't have to. Don't think you're morally obligated to place this as an entry. You definitely don't have to. But I want everybody to understand that if you're going to place it, I want you guys to understand that there's a lot of risk behind this. Again, also because small being NFP, this could not really be, a great idea. But I just want to place a trade, place trade here with gold, see if our analysis does in fact fruition, and look for potential profits. But this is rather risky of what I'm doing. I would really like to see the candles close and do that as well. But if you place it, you might be in small profits. But let's see how that works out for us as well. All right, so let me go ahead and see. I'll take a look at like one or two more. I definitely want to see if there's anything else that we could potentially trade. I apologize, everybody. I know, I do these sessions because I have the time in the morning. I obviously want to give back, but I'm usually pretty busy. I actually got to catch a flight here. I can't say where I'm going because I don't know if anybody watching because they support shit. But I got to catch a flight here in a little bit, so that way I get out of New York City for a little bit, man, because New York crazy. I wish I could show you what it looked like outside. It's foggy as hell. It is crazy. The weather's not too great. New York City's it's gotten so much worse. I came back here just because it's home, but I'm so ready to buy my house already in Florida. If anybody lives in Florida, let me know where the best places to move to are. as well. I was thinking Miami, buy a house in Miami, but everybody keeps saying no because New York City is not it no more. All right, so let me, we'll go take a look at some cryptocurrencies real quick as well. No, we won't, because that's not doing none. I do think the overall idea right now of cryptos is pretty bullish, though. I do think, again, since we did break above this structure point, these highs, on a technical standpoint at least, we should be looking for continued buys. Now, I don't personally day trade any type of cryptocurrencies. I only invest. I personally invest my money into them at specific areas, and I would say that even here right now, this would probably be a strong investment range. So let me actually go ahead and do that. Investment range. Looks like inverted head and shoulders pattern on gold. All right, let me see. And let me see real quick. Hell no, Miami is so expensive. So is New York City, my man. New York City is... I looked at a one-bedroom house out here. A one-bedroom house. And it was in Brooklyn. A one-bedroom house, mind you. Because the houses out here are real small in New York City. You can't have like a giant mansion. There's no such thing as that. They're like really... They're like... If you ever seen a brownstone, they're just like really... They're tall. They're like long. And it was no backyard, no parking, which I have a car that I need parking for, I can't just leave a fucking Nissan GTR just hanging out in the street. And they were asking for, what was it? 600,000. And it was the size of an apartment, you know what I mean? Just one floor. It was nice, it was modern, it was updated, but way too expensive. That one $600,000 house, which is considerably cheap for New York City, would be a mansion, let's say in Texas, or even in Salt Lake City, like where I live at mostly, in Utah. The $600,000 in Utah, you're getting a mansion, you're getting a 5-bedroom house, you're getting some land, you're getting a pool in the backyard, you're getting a fucking 5-car garage. Your neighbors are gonna live 2 miles away from you, so you can do whatever you want. New York City is expensive. Even a 2-bedroom apartment to live in the projects, your neighbors are roaches, is about $3,000. So you want to talk about expensive? I'd rather live on a beach, like by the beach, and have that expensive than whatever New York City's offering up right now. It's getting so bad out here. It's always been expensive, but it is getting so much more worse. It really is. South Florida is blowing up. That's exactly, my son's out there, so that's exactly where I'll be moving to. I'll be moving to South Florida. That's why I'm looking at Miami, but they're in like West Palm Beach area. So I'm looking to buy a house out in Florida. So just let me know where the best is. But yeah, let me get back to this real quick. It looks like an inverted head and shoulders on gold. It does. I was looking at that as well, but I don't necessarily think that the overall analysis, the one thing I always say is, let's say you have a classroom of 10 people and you're all asked the same question. And 9 people answer one way and that one person answers differently. Who's right? The 9 people are probably going to be correct over that one person. So one technical standpoint or one signal that, the market gives me that could show me buys against 20 or 30, I'm over exaggerating, but 20 or 30, sell signals, I'm going to go with the 20 or 30 sell signals because that's the overall, that's where the overall pressure is, if that makes sense. Southwest Florida. Shit. I don't know the difference. I just know that Florida's crazy. I'm definitely going to have a few guns because I'm scared of gators and the people. Yeah, y'all eat people out there. So you got like zombies and shit. Nah, I'm good on all that. That's why I'm in New York for a little bit. I'm like, I don't want to go and be in Florida real quick. It's too much moving around. I still got my house. I got a house and 2 apartments in Salt Lake City. Well, Utah rather, because Jeremy Ranch. So be very, very careful out there in Florida, if I were you. But I'm from the Bronx, New York, so everything, you got to be careful every day out here. All right, so let me see what else. Any other questions? Naples, Fort Myers, Tampa. I've been to Tampa once. Tampa's really nice. I love Tampa, actually. That was right after y'all won the Super Bowl, too, so it was crazy. All right, let me see if there's any other trades that we could take a look at before I do have to leave. Again, I do apologize. I got to take a flight out here in a little bit, but I did want to jump onto the charts with you guys and identify any potential trade opportunities. These yen pairs are just selling off beautifully. Look at that. Look at that. I mean, can you get any better than that? I did not place it, but I mean, that's the idea behind it is still there. I might actually go ahead and start placing my sells here on GJ in a second, right after we get off of this. But that actually, I mean, you can't get any better than that. That looks beautiful. It does look like a lot of these pound pairs are just going to continue to fall. GU, same thing. So if you're already in sells on GU, I would say hold your trade, stay profitable, and let that market work for you. Gold, there's no entry on this just yet. I'm going to allow this to develop and see what's happening with this. But so far, nothing on that right now. But if I'm looking at GU to sell, I would think that gold is going to sell as well. Let me see what you guys got. We good? All right, Sandra. What's good, Sandra? How you guys doing? That's all talk. It's all talk. All right, let me see. Before anything. Yeah, I really don't see too much else right now. It looks like everything else is pretty much just stagnant. And you're going to see that because, again, tomorrow being NFP, you're not going to get too much volatility within the markets. So right now, I would say if you're going to be trading, just kind of just identify. Don't trade anything. Sit in your hands. Let the markets work for you. Tomorrow morning, I personally will not be available. I will be obviously busy doing a bunch of shit. I really didn't realize how busy I'd be throughout this entire week or the week that I'll be gone. But I will be catching back on. Actually, we will be jumping on a call on Monday. Even though I'll be gone, we will be jumping on a YouTube on Monday. It won't have the overlays. You guys probably won't see me, but you will at least be able to still jump onto the charts and really identify some things and answer any and all questions that you guys have. But yeah, I don't see any questions, any other charts, but it looks like you guys are good. Let me just go back to gold really quick, since we do have a new candle. All right, so I'll let that actually develop a little bit more. No sells on gold as of yet. I might actually go ahead and start placing some sells here on GJ though. And then I think, what else was it? GU as well. So GJ and GBP/USD are two markets that I'll be looking to potentially sell here sometime soon. I will share this analysis with you guys in the Discord as well. If you guys are not a part of the Discord, feel free to go into the description below, get the link. I'm always going to post when I'm doing lives. Any potential signals that I put out are obviously going to be put out for you guys as well. And a lot more other valuable things that I'll be, trying to conjure up for you guys. I think I really want to build this community through just transparency, through value, and through profits. And I think a lot of us can do that together. So if we can just build a community through the Discord, obviously expand from there, I would definitely appreciate that. Also, I want to extend my gratitude to everybody who's been on this call from day one to day now. You know what I mean? So to current. I definitely want to extend my gratitude to you guys. You guys are amazing, whether you are a legacy student or not. I want to extend my gratitude and say that I love every last one of you guys. I really can't tell you how amazing it is to be able to educate, be on this side, and be able to really have financial freedom. So I really want to be able to give back and really depict that to you guys, so that way everybody, no matter where you are in life, no matter anything, that anybody could reach that and be able to obviously be able to trade profitably and consistently, so that way you guys can reach financial freedom. Because it's not the financial freedom that you get, it's the time that is more, I would say, crucial, that everybody, at least for me, that I enjoy the most. So my time is valuable. I want to give my time back to you guys, so that way you have more time for yourself. So with that being said, let me see what else you guys got really quick. Give the channel a like and subscribe. Jay, you amazing dog. Christopher, Karen, Sammy was I appreciate that. Yes, please, if you can, please definitely like the video, subscribe. I'm going to be doing this every single day for you guys. So this is going to grow no matter what, whether you're here or not, unfortunately. So I hope you stay and last, so that way you can be a part of the movement as well. So please like this, please subscribe. Definitely, if you have any questions, feel free to hit me up at any time. I'm available on Facebook, Discord, Smoke Signal, Instagram, Morse Code, Message in a Bottle. I mean, you name it, I got you. So with that being said, I definitely appreciate every last one of you guys. Thank you, Jay. You're amazing. Be safe. Have a good flight. Thank you. I appreciate every last one of you guys. Tell somebody you love them, and I'll see you guys on the next one.